Welcome to the GigRoots podcast. Let's get into it. Cindy Beresford owns the Rise Salon. She focuses on cultivating beauty for women through wearing their hair naturally. Depending on who you are, that may not seem like a big deal. But many black women struggle with societal conceptions of beauty in relation to how they view themselves. It can get complicated. The Rise Salon is a space where natural hair and natural beauty is celebrated. For Cindy, finding the ideal space in the ideal neighborhood means allowing the message to proliferate and be accepted by everybody. What's life been like for you these last couple months?
Interesting.
How so?
I am a salon owner, and I'm used to being in the shop physically working with clients. And of course, I've had to, for the first time ever in the last 10 years I've been in business, transition to working from home. So I've had to come up with creative ways to cater to my clients outside of the shop.
What kind of clients do you serve typically?
Mostly women. Between the ages of 30 to 45, some below and some above, and then some men in there as well. But clients with natural hair. I specialize in caring for natural hair.
Okay, so you're all about natural hair, and as I can see, you're wearing your hair naturally.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that the Oscars a couple of years back, I think they had a couple of people that got up and spoke about that. I don't know if you remember this what happened, but just hair love, I believe, was the name of it. It seems like natural hair is becoming, it's an increasing phenomenon.
Definitely, but I have been catering to clients with natural hair before natural hair was a trend. And so what I do goes so much far beyond a trend. I like to help women become their best selves from the inside out. And I feel like a huge part of that has to do with embracing your hair in its natural state. So I teach them tools and tips. I'm also an educator. So I'm educating clients as they're in the shop on, hey, this is what it looks like to maintain your natural hair at home. This is what you might experience, because it's also a very emotional process for women as well. We have a very emotional connection to our hair.
Have you always felt that way? I mean, what was it like for you growing up?
Definitely, it's become a passion for me later on in life. I've been doing hair since I was 14 years old, and I am now 32. So, it's been a long time. But once my hands touched that texture, I became obsessed. So I started out as a braider, meaning that I just mainly braided. And over the years, my love and passion for just working with textured hair grew. And I launched out into other things, but I decided to specialize in natural hair care because it just became really special to me.
It's
I started
a niche.
hearing about the effect. Yeah.
It's a niche market, sure.
It is. I started hearing and studying about the effects of chemicals on women's bodies. And whatever you apply to your scalp and your body, enters your bloodstream. And I was learning about how Black women, especially, are affected by fibroids. And, a lot of these things were caused by relaxers, perms, And so I just strayed away from it. And I found that I had great success in helping women's hair thrive in its natural state versus chemically treated. So this is just the route that I felt led to go.
And so normally, like you said, you would be in your salon right now. What's the community around where your salon is? What's the neighborhood like there?
Definitely businesses. We're right next door. I'm located in the My Salon Suite building on 29th Street, right behind Dave & Buster's, Trader Joe's, right next to Fast Finds as well, and some car dealerships.
So you're in you're well surrounded by kind of a lot of commercial spaces around you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So then how do people normally find out about you? Is it mostly word of mouth or what do they do?
Mainly word of mouth. That's always been my largest source of people referring me. And then also social media, Facebook and Instagram. Our salon page is the Rise Salon on both platforms, and that is mainly how people hear about us.
When you were trying to find a space to operate out of, what sort of space had you envisioned?
Honestly, I used to work in multiple salons, and it took a while for me to finally realize, like, Cindy, you are a person that lights things your way and you need your own space. And so I have a friend who came across the salon suite concept on Craigslist, actually. So since 2012, I have been stationed in a salon suite. First location was in Cascade, way down on 28th Street, at the Sola Salon Suite building. And then I've been in the My Salon Suite location since 2016.
Okay, so you moved locations.
I did, yep.
And so, are you the space that you're in now? Would you say that it's more prominently placed? Do you find that there's a lot more foot traffic or traffic coming by from where you were before?
Well, no. So in the salon suite, with the salon suite concept, it's important for you to have an established clientele, because I get maybe one walk-in a year. That is no exaggeration. Because what happens is a lot of people don't even know what the concept is or that it exists, like what's actually inside of the building, until you enter the building. So the salon suites are usually a place where stylists who have established businesses decide, like, hey, I want to be in this space where I can control things pretty much, and I don't have the overhead costs of a larger salon space.
When we talk about trying to create certain corridors where people want to walk and hang out and do their shopping, if you were to envision sort of the ideal block for your business to be on, what would that look like?
Wealthy Street. Actually, that's exactly, like, I love the East Town area. And right now I'm actually looking to expand. And you keep hearing me say us because I see the greater vision for the Rise Salon. And in the near future, I plan for us to move and open a larger salon location in an area ideally like Wealthy Street, East Town area, so that my clients can have the option of being surrounded by little shops and businesses that they have access to, that they can just enjoy.
So we'll have people that are listening that won't understand that reference to Wealthy Street. So, but I understand it living here. But just get what do you mean by that? What about Wealthy Street makes it an appealing commercial corridor to you?
There's like a buzz about Wealthy Street. It's just, you feel something when you're in that area. I feel it's an energy that it speaks to me as an entrepreneur, like as a business owner. It's the type of energy, and I hope I'm explaining it like in a way you can understand, but it's the type of energy that I would like my clients to be surrounded by. You constantly have people walking up and down the street, in and out of shops that are there, and all sorts of creative businesses are just lined up and down those streets.
Now, for what I understand, I don't think Wealthy Street would be qualified as a mostly diverse kind of corridor.
Really?
I'm not sure if there is or not. Maybe I'm wrong, but would you say there's a lot of diversity there?
I think there is enough diversity. A good amount of it, not necessarily, a ton, but I think there's more diversity in that area than there is like in some other areas of Grand Rapids. I think more than anything, one of my goals is to contribute to bringing more diversity to that area. Within the past year, looking for a new salon location, I have encountered something that I have never blatantly encountered before as a business owner. And it was extremely discouraging for a moment. But I have risen above it and I'm continuing to push forward. But I am originally from Toronto, Canada. I am born and raised Canadian. And, I grew up in a very diverse community. I mean, surrounded by diversity. And I've never really had to think of, hey, maybe someone won't want me in this space. But what happened when I started looking for locations is I encountered racism very blatantly for the first time, and discrimination to the point that sometimes the realtors or the people leasing the spaces would just not call back or come up with excuses. Or, I mean, it was just something that I've never experienced before, and it was really hurtful. Um, but to just, like I said, kind of go back to address that for a minute, I am always a very optimistic person. So that is more so where I was speaking from concerning Wealthy Street, that area. I think that it's very important that to contribute to that diversity in those areas.
So you noticed, it sounds like you noticed a pretty big difference from here versus where you grew up.
Oh, absolutely. It's 100% different. I grew up literally with, if you've ever been to Toronto, it's a melting pot. So I grew up with people from all over the world, and to come to Grand Rapids, just Michigan, well, specifically Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids, because those are the two places I've lived. Um, I've had to adjust a lot. It was culture shock for me.
Well, I know Toronto is one of the most ethnically diverse cities in North America.
Yes.
And so I understand what you're talking about, but I also know that here in Grand Rapids we see a growing number of folks from other parts of the world coming and living here. What would you imagine, or what do you envision for bringing about a greater entrepreneurial community here?
Openness to other cultures and their practices. Just creating, just be intentional about creating spaces that we can be intentional about learning and embracing other cultures, especially if you're not aware of their practices, or maybe how they operate in business or where they come from. Just creating a space to actually get to know people. I think it's important to build relationship in business. So,
speaking of people, you're running a business here, and you're wanting to expand the team. Who else is a part of your team right now? Is it mostly you, or are there others helping you?
it is mostly me. As far as like being in the shop, like physically doing hair, that's me. That's all me. But I am building a team, especially over the past year. I've really loved that. Like making sure that I have a social media manager and a business coach. These are the people that I consider my team, because they are the people that are helping me to grow and build my business. So those are mainly the other two people I have right now on my team.
And you're running the salon full time, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And so, and do you have any other sources of income besides the business? Is that your main source of income?
This is my main and only source of income.
Okay. So right now, then, I mean, things are pretty crucial, it seems like.
Yes, definitely. My main source of income has been cut off as far as like, doing hair. But I have fortunately, like I said, been able to bring in a little bit of income through selling product and doing virtual consultations. Those are some areas I've had to become creative to learn, hey, how can I bring in at least some income during this time?
What do you think is one of the biggest things that you've learned during this time?
That it's important to have multiple streams of income. For sure. Because, it really made me ask myself the question, if I could ever, God forbid, not physically be working again in the shop, what else could I have coming in so that my main source of income doesn't just stop?
What would you say you're most excited about?
I'm excited about actually continuing to implement the things that I've created during this time. Like I said, mainly the virtual consults, the online store is now built out. The boutique, the Rise Boutique, is on our website. And I'm excited to just continue to create, because during this time, I've had to think outside of the box. You have to think outside of the box. I've also started hosting live conversations on social media, on Instagram, on our salon page, just to help clients walk through, hey, this is how you cater to your hair at home. This is how you take care of your hair at home. These are some products you can use. I have started hosting those conversations called Live Hair. Stands for Live Inspiration, Vision, and Empowerment. And I'm also featuring other stylists on the live hair platform so that they can bring their expertise in as well, join with mine, and we can share that with a large group of people.
Well, it sounds like you've really taken steps to try and seize the opportunity in front of you now to pivot, to innovate. And so, I mean, we really wish you well and for you and your business moving forward. Cindy, I want to say thank you to you. I appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you, Cindy. Check out our website for links to Cindy's business and many others. There are millions of micro enterprises across the country bringing their products, services, and ideas to the greater marketplace. When you shop with them, you help bring jobs and economic growth to the communities that need it most. Go to grassrootsgig.com to learn more. Follow us on social media and be sure to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you do your streaming. I'm Ethan Daly, reminding you to shop in place, to buy local, and to support grassroots entrepreneurship. We'll see you next time.